Good evening guys and welcome to Eclipse Gaming TV. Frosty here with you, and we are going to be watching some ESL UK Premiership action, and we are underway here. This is into the second round. uFrag taking the early advantage, the bye if you like, as they're squaring off against inDepth, who beat some team that had snakes and melons in their title, and the standard typical crazy mixed names that you tend to get with tournaments like this. But huge showing for the qualifiers of the ESL UK Premiership, with 128 teams getting involved in this thing. And uFrag, we thought we'd jump on with them because there's no absolute classic game screaming out during the very early stages for this second round. So I thought we'll get on board with one of the favourites for the tournament and see how they're shaping up so far. And already looking in half decent nick, 3v1 situation, 40 seconds left to go with the bomb down over towards the B site here. And we are playing cash. It's Adam, the team captain, picking up the frag, and it is going to be uFrag taking the early advantage into this one. uFrag, interesting team. I saw them at the last Epic LAN a couple of weeks ago, and despite promising big things, they did fall at a number of hurdles, which is kind of unfortunate after talking a big game. But they've got a couple of players in their team that are fairly inexperienced, but also doing pretty good things considering they've only been playing the game for 12 months. So this is a squad that is a real work in progress, as we're on board with Adam in the mid area. Going to try and lock it down with the rifles against the upgraded pistols, and it is 5 pistol upgrades coming in from inDepth, who came through against what I'm imagining is a mixed team. But it's Adam coming out on top, leading from the front for his team with 1 frag already in this second round. And it all comes down to this mid control. There's cash. If you can get locked down on T side, you've got so many opportunities to try and make something happen. And there's Sperry picking up a frag for inDepth, and Yoshi could be in a bit of trouble potentially with the spray down. He's able to pick up 1, but that's a decent little trade. And we've got Sperry trying to do some damage with his second frag, and he does get that on Ash, leaving Powell and Tort. I'm going to look it up in a second. And it's Tort picking up 1 frag, taking down Sperry, who was able to get a couple, but he is now looking for the save by the looks of things. Got to take that Famous into the second round. So inDepth trading things straight up with uFrag. They took full control of that mid area, and even though Adam was able to pick up 1 frag, he was hunted down by Sperry, who picked up 3 frags actually, it turns out. So the upgraded pistols worked out, and that's one thing you can do when you get into that mid area. If you got control of it, then it depends on how the CTs want to play it. They might try and take you out of there, or they might sit back into their sights, but it means that there's a couple of angles that you can be looking to attack. For uFrag, I'm sure, let's see what we're looking at, coming up to 9 o'clock, I'm sure this won't be their first game of the night. Probably be putting in a bit of a warm-up. But you know, sometimes you can catch a team cold, especially in this best-of-1 knockout format. You haven't got time to mess around, and I'm sure this early little trade after winning the first round won't be a huge wobble for him. Powell could be in a bit of trouble if he peeks here, and Sharp's got the opportunity to make the frag, and he does. It's a slightly scrappy work there from Sharp, but he is able to pick up that frag in the end with the AK, taking down to 37 points of health. These guys are already coming through 1 game in the CSL UK Premiership, and the format, little bit complicated on the format, and I'll try and translate it for you as best I can once I do a little more reading. But effectively everyone's getting points in this, and it's between the 3 qualifiers this Monday and then the next 2 Mondays coming, which amass the most points, and that will take you through into the qualification section. And we've got Yoshi with 1 frag, make that 2, and it's trades over here towards the A site with Tort going to come in and try and do some damage. He's already taken 1, but he's got 2 more that he needs to find. Keltry on very low HP down towards the back of the site with a pistol as well, and Tort is caught as well before he's flashed out. And you'd expect that inDepth will be able to hold this, but if you don't pick up those opportunities, then those can come back to bite you. So Tort's going to get out of there, and again, keep hold of that Famous and bring it through into the next contest. So as it comes down to it, it's all down to the number of points you can amass. So even if you go and win this week, which uFrag are expected to be one of the favourites to do, they are still going to want to keep playing, get as many points as they can, and move through into the next stage of this tournament. With inDepth taking a 2-1 lead here against uFrag. Now, first chance to have a look at the scoreboard. Sperry leading the way for inDepth with his 6 frags. The rest of the team just catching up a little bit, and it's fairly spread out between the uFrag boys. Powell down on 0 frags so far, but he's probably going to be looking to pick up the AWP at some point. Maybe take the mid control with it, who knows. Probably going to reserve it more towards the T side, potentially. Try and work a few picks if you can. Adam getting a little bit aggressive, and there might be an opportunity for him to get in here, potentially into the mid storage, but that would be a mistake, and instead it's Sperry coming out taking Adam's teammate Tort, and they're both walking through trying to do some damage, and it hasn't worked out. But Adam has got the opportunity to get in from behind, so maybe he can make that count. He's got a chance to make a play on Sperry, the leading player so far, and he's picked up an AK for his troubles as well, so nicely done there. Good trade. Yoshi in the meantime might have some action coming in with Keltry. Go try and work it. That nade only takes off 10 points of health, so nothing too crazy just there. And about a minute left to go on the clock. Bomb has been planted over towards the B site, so chance for the rotate to come in from the uFrag boys. Yoshi probably going to make his way in through the vents. Keltry still in the mid area, and it's Wretch actually coming in from behind from the mid area, and that's 2 for him before Powell's able to pick him up and grab the AK, but that's costly. It was numbers in the favour of uFrag. Now it's not. Sharp on the site as well, able to take Adam, so inDepth looking decent here so far. Powell again has got another frag before he's caught by Sharp, and inDepth are in half decent form here. Fine Fettel after their victory in the first round, and it's Sharp adding a couple to his tally, as does Sperry adding 1, 7-3. This is the first real chance to buy. AWP does go up in the hand of Powell. Is he going to take it to the mid area? Yes, he is, but he's got Adam and Ash there for support as well. They're going to try and lock that down as solidly as they can, and a little bit of an aggro push potentially, but Rilla's managed to get straight into the B storage, so any attempts of trying to get aggressive out of that site, he's potentially going to be looking to pick up a frag. Wretch coming through into the squeaky area as we're looking at here, so who knows what will come of that. Rilla just spamming off shots. Not really the kind of angle you're going to find someone unless they're being a little too casual there, peeking out of that B site. So probably not going to be anything too fruitful coming out of this until they actually make their entry into the site, unless Ash maybe jumps a little too early. Over at the other site here, over at A, Adam up on the balcony might have a chance of a pincer movement with Wretch coming in and Keltry from the squeaky and from the main entrance, respectively, from the storage area, but nothing there. And again, nothing for Powell. Gets the AWP up in hand, first time in 5 rounds of Counter-Strike, and he isn't able to even get a sniff of a frag from that mid area. So inDepth slowing this down. They probably know they're up against the buy, and now they are trying to work. It's Ash in the vents, kept quiet long enough for Sperry to walk straight into that, and Tort picks up a frag, as does Yoshi. That was Keltry over at the other side. They're going to try and make a play onto A here, as Wretch picks up one as well. Adam spamming through the smoke, able to pick up Wretch before he's going to try and close it on the site. 4v1. This is almost definitely game over for Sharp and for inDepth, but maybe he can take a player or two. No, he can't. And it's Powell who is able to get himself on the ball with his first... Not with his first frag. It's picked up a couple at some point, actually. My mistake. That's what you get for not looking at the scoreboard quite as often as you should. But we'll do that right now as uFrag bring it to within 1 round. 3-2, though, still in favour of inDepth, who looked very solid during the first couple of rounds. Chance for uFrag to try and turn the screw just a little bit here now, though, and pick up as many rounds as they can. If you get 3 or 4 on T-side, it probably isn't enough, especially against one of the potential qualifier favourites. We've got Adam locking down the mid area. The AWP of Powell has gone in another direction. Let's get on board and see where that is. It is actually in the mid area, but playing further back, looking for any potential boost, which hasn't come just yet. But there's an interesting little boost that we'll go and try and take a look at. Sperry is in fact boosting from, let's see, where are these guys? was boosting from further back, and that's actually given them an angle. That's a nice little spot. I didn't know that existed, but now they're going for the regular boost, and Powell is not going to miss that. Just sitting there patiently waiting for a head to pop up. There's nowhere else you really have to look apart from mid-door. And again, Sharp boosting up a teammate. They're going to try again, and it looks like it might work. Keltry's up there, but difficult spot to try and work from. In the meantime, I'm expecting Ash might be coming out of the vents, and he does, and Wretch is able to fire down a few shots, bringing Ash down to 19 points of health before Ash is able to pick up the frag. So he's been effective there. A couple of times he's been in the vents, though. They're going to be expecting that, and he's going to have to be careful not to make a habit of going there for the remainder of these rounds. So Keltry going to throw off a smoke and a flash, and they're going to try and make their entry in, but Powell's waiting there, and he gets Keltry as he pops up on the ladder. Yoshi with a chance to make a frag, and Powell comes in to clean up. So good, solid hold from uFrag, and from that point there wasn't really enough time on the clock for inDepth to really set themselves up for that. It's pretty much flash smoke, go in, let's hope for the best all from one angle, and it didn't come off for them. So uFrag bring it back even then, 3 versus 3. They did take the early first round advantage before giving that straight back to inDepth, and they were to pick up a couple of frags. Chance here for Adam, and in fact he gets nailed through the smoke and is able to get out of there with his life, but doesn't even throw off a nade to be all that useful. But they're going straight in, and Powell gets one, Yoshi gets another, and Powell and Yoshi trading for these 5 players making their way into the site, and it's 3 for Yoshi, 2 for Powell. Nice and easy. Adam, I thought he might have been in a bit of trouble there. He had players swarming straight in, and he wasn't able to throw off his nade, which could have done some serious damage, but inDepth maybe a little short of ideas, barreling short A en masse, and they weren't able to come away with it. Rilla with the AWP in hand. What can he do against Powell, who's starting to warm up quite nicely with that weapon in hand? First game they've played tonight here, uFrag in this tournament. inDepth already coming through with 1 victory against Snaky Melons, I think the team name was. No one that I particularly recognised in that team, to be honest, so I'm not surprised that inDepth were able to come through to this point. You're on board with Crossy for Eclipse Gaming TV. For those of you that haven't seen me in action before, I tend to be quite frequently involved at Epic LAN and sometimes at the Multiplayer I-Series, so I end up watching quite a lot of competitive UK Counter-Strike at LAN. Not as much online as maybe I would like to, and this is a good chance to see some of these teams in action. So I'm going to bring you a couple of games tonight probably before it gets too late. I might try and grab a few demos and put a few up on my YouTube channel as well as these, and I'll try and grab you some action from the next 2 Mondays as well, with any luck for the 2nd and 3rd qualifier if all goes to plan, which will be good. So you know, keep it locked, subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying what you're seeing so far. I don't get to commentate very often at all, but I thought tonight might be a good opportunity to do so, as Rilla picks up 1 frag with his AWP, but 4v2 in favour of uFrag. You'd expect they'll be able to close this one out 4v2, but the bomb plant is going to go in, so always a chance if you can get that bomb down. It's 800 bucks in your account, and Rilla at the back of the site dug himself in quite nicely before Tort's able to pick up Sharp with the fire, and Powell with the pistol against the AWP is able to grab Rilla, so it is going to be 5-3. uFrag now starting to turn the screw a little bit. Putting together 4 rounds on the spin. Had to defuse a couple of times, so the inDepth money will have been bolstered just a little bit by that, and they can put a scrub buy together if they so choose, but I think they are going to go with upgraded pistols. Might be quite keen to get Rilla with an AWP in hand. He was able to pick up a couple of frags last time around with it, but they haven't really had the cash to put it together. Now this has been one time where they do seem to struggle when they're on like upgraded pistols or ecos. Apart from that second round that they picked up against their weapons actually, but Sperry completely short of ideas, goes barreling straight in there. I guess he was the decoy, but Tort's able to pick up a couple before he's grabbed by Sharp in the checkers. Adam's going to get the chance on Rilla. Surprised he didn't make that. Rilla was completely blind. Sharp's going to try and chase down, but there's a pincer movement going on. He could be walking into trouble. Adam maybe wasn't quite on the same page as Yoshi there. One of them goes, one of them doesn't, and it allowed for Adam to be picked off. 2v1 then. And we've got the bomb ticking away. They need to do something with it. Ash on the cover. He knows where Sharp is. Picks him up from checkers. Yoshi's able to sit on it, and it is 6-3. So a few little mistakes creeping in from uFrag, and this is something we saw from them at Epic 17 for a team that was considered, or they were at least were considering we're going to go quite far in that tournament. And to be fair, they did, but we saw them against some of the stronger teams making fairly costly errors, and as a result they weren't quite on the same pace. And we're seeing a few odd little mistakes from them here already as well. I guess you could put that down to just warming up. That's always the balance. When you're jumping into something like this and you try and get some mixes together beforehand, you don't know about the quality of the opposition you're going to get, and you never know. Maybe they haven't had the best warm-up of all time. It's tough to know unless you're asking the players, and then they might give you a bit of a politician's answer for it to that as well, as Tort's able to pick it up. So fairly comfortable stuff here from uFrag now, taking it to 7-3. And if they can keep winning a few more rounds, probably another 3-4 rounds, they're going to be pretty happy with their performance, and going to be looking forward to bringing it home nice and comfortably. Best of one format that we're looking at here, so you are one and done. Maybe not. Well, I don't want to slag off the best of one format because I quite like it to a point, but if you're a team, maybe not the strongest team as Wretch nails Rilla in the back, and they've switched up their AWPer here of inDepth. But the trouble you have with best of one is that if you're caught cold, or you get a team that maybe isn't the best as a team, but have a few players that can do some serious damage as individuals, then if you get like a best of one Dust 2, you can end up getting wiped out by a team where 9 times out of 10 that maybe wouldn't happen, or on any other map maybe it wouldn't happen. And I guess that's kind of part of the danger with it. It's kind of like a sprint rather than a marathon if you were playing at land, for example. But never mind, as Adam is able to pick up a frag on Keltry, and it's 5 versus 2 with Tort picking up a frag. Adam able to grab Wretch as well, and it's now Adam going to try and pick up another frag. That's his third of the round, taking it 8-3. So Adam, team leader, top of the scoreboard, tied with Powell and Tort for the frags. And Powell with the AWP in hand, and is a very effective player with that weapon. He's not one of those go charging all out super aggressive AWPers, but he'll sit and he'll watch an angle and he will come out on top more often than not. So you're going to see a couple of frags from Powell, but you're not going to see him go charging straight in and unleashing fireworks, as he's got a couple of players round about the mid here. He's got 2 there. That's Sperry and Wretch with the chance for a third, and Powell, there's me saying don't expect fireworks from him, but expect solid picks. There's a few fireworks with 3 frags. Ash able to pick up Keltry, leaving Sharp last man standing. And after a bit of early, Powell's in trouble. No, he's not. I don't know how he got away with that one, but that's his 4th frag on the board, and that puts him 15-5, top of the scoreboard, 16k, plenty of cash in the bank. And inDepth seem to be running out of ideas. Their eco, deco, upgraded pistols, whatever you want to call it, hasn't really gone anywhere. They've gone en masse somewhere, got a few plants out of it, but nothing particularly concrete. They're on a bit of a scrub buy here now. Once that's done, well, I guess with the AK buys, it's leveled everyone's money up. But aside from that, as Yoshi picks up a frag, taking down Keltry, and they're pushing through smoke, pushing through flashes, just trying to get out into that site. And if they're still alive at that point, then maybe. But Yoshi and Powell gets one. Rilla and Sharp trading back for inDepth, and Sperry pretty much gave up on it and disappeared back through the storage, while the rest of his teammates barreled out the site. Maybe not the best idea as Sharp. They're able to get a plant down back of the site, so maybe a chance for inDepth 2 versus 3 to make this count. But Sperry goes down to Tort, making the frag before Ash's fire, and is able to nail Sharp as he tries to throw out some fire of his own, which doesn't do a whole lot. And the defuse very comfortably coming in, so 10-3 it is for uFrag. Let's have a look at the cash. So with those couple of AK buys, cash is normalised. We can see a full buy coming in from inDepth. Not bothering with the AWP, hasn't been hugely effective, and unless you're going to take out Powell with it, then I'm not sure that's the best weapon of choice for the T side. That's the only real avenue you can make it work, I think. The B site is pretty close quarters, and to be honest, so is the A, unless you're going to sit back from storage and try and pick people off with multiple angles to look at from the site. It's a tough ask. And Powell really turning the screw with the AWP in hand, making a couple of frags from the mid area. Taking down Keltry first of all this time. So once again, numbers back in favour of the CTs, and Powell's got another. He's walking through, and that's the bomb down. That's Rilla. Adam might have some attention from the mid area if he wants it, but instead he's going to come back and save this bomb as they try and move through Squeaky. Powell's in there, and he's got the chance for another, but Yoshi, he picks it up instead, restricting Powell to his 3 frags. Wretch, last man in the Squeaky. I think they know where he is. In fact, they definitely know where he is. With that Molotov into the corner, Adam picks him up, and it is 11-3. So much more comfortable stuff coming in from uFrag now. And you kind of wonder, is it because of uFrag's brilliance, or is it because of a lack of ideas from inDepth? And I think it's more a lack of ideas from inDepth, you would suggest. Powell, yeah, he's making plenty of frags, but they're going to keep walking into his scope, then yeah, that's a little difficult. But Rilla, nice frag taking down Tort, but that's a tough side to try and get into. Keltry going to try and walk through this smoke, but he's flashed out, and Adam is going to get in through the vents safely. He's going to be there to back up his teammate, as is Ash, and Ash is able to pick up 1 frag. Adam, I think he knew there might have been some trouble coming from mid, but was caught reloading. Keltry now coming in, so that call will come in from Adam that there's players coming in from behind, but Yoshi in a bit of trouble. He's getting chased down, but Sperry is caught by Yoshi. So now there's a chance. Keltry with a frag takes down Powell from the upper area, so that's the AWPer, and Wretch with the P90 brings it home. So 11-4 it is. Interesting bit of play there from uFrag. I think they knew what was happening, and Adam, though, maybe could have, if he picked up that mid player, or if who was it that was also caught? I can't remember now. Ash, I think it was. If he'd picked up the player coming through the vents, it might have been a completely different story. It will have been called by Adam, the team captain. But 11-4 it is then, so uFrag going to be looking to pick up this pistol, and I think if they're able to do that, piggyback through to the next 2, it is going to be a very comfortable round for them, but we shall see. Not as comfortable round, comfortable map, we should say, and that will bring them through into the 3rd round, the best of 32, I think it is, round of 32. They're able to round it out nice and quickly. We might be able to get another couple of games out on stream before it gets too late and people need to go to bed and stuff, which is not ideal, but never mind, we'll just deal with it as we can. Get a couple of games in before this thing comes to a close. And this has been Crossy for Eclipse Gaming TV. Something that I've been wanting to get up and running for a couple of years, this Eclipse Gaming TV thing, and bring you some live CSGO commentary, but I've generally failed in making it happen due to other time constraints. And we're into the site. Adam gets caught. Sperry up top. They haven't managed to pick him up yet, but Ash is going to get to the back of the site and plant with cover from the boxes, leaving it 3 players from uFrag. Powell in the mid area, try to do some damage. Keltry picks him up though, so 4v2, and Keltry's going to be coming in from the vents to do some damage, so they need to work fast here to uFrag. And it's now down to last man standing, Ash, caught in the pincer movement. He's able to pick up 1, but Wretch will finish it off. And after a couple of players going down, inDepth take the 1st round. 11-5 it is. That's going to be money in their pocket. But the $800 that uFrag will have picked up there will be a bit of a help to try and build, and they could potentially be looking to buy in the 3rd round if they want to. That's if they don't pick up this pistol, which is exactly what inDepth are able to do, pick up the pistol against the upgraded weapons. Now this I don't like. Got 3 players gone for full utility, but they've only gone for P250s, and this could be a costly error potentially. But uFrag going straight in, Rilla with the nades, and Sharp with a nade of his own, so double nades are plenty. Was able to do the job here. Powell going to try and make something happen, but he's going to get caught, no doubt, and he does. So uFrag went straight in there, got caught by the double nade, plus the 3rd nade I think it was that went in. I guess they were looking to try and get that one over with quickly, maybe try and get a plant if they can, but we are seeing the force buying. Well, you call it a force, it's pretty much the standard 3rd round AK buy these days when you end up losing the first couple. See if they can make it count. They're trying to use the boost. Plenty utility going into that mid area, and they're working a storage as well with Adam and Ash. Going to try and get in there. Yoshi goes down to Rilla, and Rilla with the spray down. He's picked up 3 players from 3 different angles as they all try to drop into that mid area. Ash picks up the opening frag. Keltry is going to go down after a good call from Ash. And the plant is also going to go down. Adam 2 HP though. He's probably not going to clutch this for his team, the captain, and he is caught, but he's going to get the 800 bucks underway. So good work from Rilla. We jumped onto his screen just in time to see him pick up his second and third frag, but effectively uFrag thought, let's go into mid at 3 different angles and try and pick up a frag, and that's exactly what they did. But all that actually happened is they got picked off one at a time by a spraying M4. It's like the flashback to the days of CS Source. Crouch, hold mouse 1, wiggle your mouse about a bit and watch the headshots roll in by the looks of things. But it was effective, and that they were able to pick it up was inDepth. So that's a couple of rounds on the board for them, a couple of rounds on the spin. It's been a while since they've been able to do that, probably since the early stages of the first half. And we've now got a pincer movement coming in. Wretch on the site with Keltry around the corner. Wretch with the spray down. He's got 3, and he's only got 20 bullets to play within that silence M4, and he uses all of them to great effect, with 4 leaving Tort last man standing, trying to spam through the door, and he has taken someone down to super low HP, but he's in the same boat, and Wretch picks up the ace. All 5 frags, and 3 of those from spray down with his 20 bullets of his silenced M4. Very impressive stuff, and inDepth looking kind of solid, but we've got the AWP up in the hands of Powell now. He's looking pretty switched on by the time he got this weapon in his hand, leading the charge 19 and 10. So are we going to see him go for the boost spot, or is he working somewhere else? Looks like they are going for the boost. Sperry up in the mid area with an AWP of his own. That's the console. Sorry guys, that's not what you want to see. But Sperry looking towards the A site instead before he flicks back to mid. This might have given Powell time to set his feet. And Powell has the angle, but he's given away his position now. Tucks himself right in there, and you could barely see him even on X-ray, to be honest. So from Sperry's point of view, very tough shot to find. On board with Adam then, team captain. Molotov from Ash going to try and lock off the mid area, make sure they're not going to get pushed as they go and try and make their way to stack up towards B storage. Minute left to go on the clock. Now look at the overlay, and we've got 2 players. We've got Sharp and Rilla in there, and they're making their play now. Molotov's going for Sharp just to try and slow things down. Tort gets the opening frag. Powell gets Sperry from the upper, and it's Sharp on the back of the site though. He does some damage. He's got 2 before Tort is able to pick him up, and it's going to be a chance to plant the bomb. uFrag with the slender advantage, 3 versus 2. Tort down to 29 HP, so 1 nade will do the damage to him, and Keltry, and he's able to pick up that frag before Powell grabs Wretch, leaving last man standing, Keltry. But Powell comes out on top again, 22 and 10, his score, 16 and 8 for Tort, his next nearest teammate. And so for inDepth, looking down the barrel of a 12-8. First round that uFrag have managed to get on this second half so far. And inDepth are fine, they've got enough cash to buy this time around. Might be a little strapped next time around, potentially. uFrag did nice work getting in there, picked up a couple of quick frags towards the B side. Right, it's Powell to try and pick up a frag with the AWP in hand, but looks like nothing really coming of that so far. There might be now. Ooh, that flash. It's a cheeky little peek coming in from the inDepth player. If Powell had looked away from that, or had only been half blind, he probably would have cracked off a shot. But Sharp trying to jump in. Are they trying to work a boost there, or has he just dropped out from the mid area? But straight away he walks straight into Tort's AK. So Rilla now maybe thinking about peeking the angle. There's 2 players there, bro. Don't do it. It's going to give your life away. And if anything, that's not a good trade. You're better to be trading on T side. The numbers are maybe less advantage, or less of an advantage for you than losing players on CT. If you lose players on CT, Sperry, I don't know how he managed to pull off that little shot. But Ash over at the other site on A, causing the misdirection, and looks like uFrag are going en masse. That site looking like B is pretty locked down. But one thing you don't want to happen on CT is have a player picked off somewhere, because you've got to worry about that. You've got to think, do I need to rotate, as Keltry picks up Yoshi as he tries to work mid. So try to get in and stop any potential rotates, but instead it's just made it a little easier for the rotate to come in. Keltry gets up top, throws a nice little nade, but he exposes himself. Ash might be able to use some decent rifle control, and he does that in the end anyway, picking up a frag. Rilla coming straight in there, getting Ash at the back of sight. Now probably know he's on low, and he is, but so is Sperry, leaving Adam last man standing. Defuse is on, and it's the 5 HP player. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Now for time, Rilla goes for the fake. Knows where Adam is, picks up the frag. Has he got enough time? I think he might. Yes, just. So a bit of a crazy little round there. inDepth looking more solid on that B hold after being a little bit fragile. Got picked off just a little early. And I was worried about Sperry getting aggressive over there, and Rilla maybe thinking about peeking that corner with a couple of players in there, but they don't. And these guys, inDepth, who I don't know a whole lot about, in fact don't know anything about apart from watching in this game, are giving uFrag a bit of a run for their money, which is always exciting. Upgraded pistols coming in from uFrag. Of course, one thing that we don't want for inDepth is them to win that round and then lose it straight back. But I don't think they are going to do that, as Rilla gets aggressive, and he does pick up one before he's caught. Sharp going to try and do some damage. He takes the bomb down. Oh, Powell, Adam with the rifle in hand, I think. But it's no match for inDepth, as they bring it back. Just a 2-round deficit now. 12-10 in favour of uFrag. Haven't got an AWP up to put in the hands of Powell. So it's just going to be AKs all round. Fairly decent amount of utility to spread around the team as well. It's got full head armour from all players on the server. One thing you can forego if you're on CT side, because against AKs it's a one-shot headshot anyway. But you'll tend to grab it for the most part. Gives you a bit of protection against pistols. Upgraded SMGs. That kind of thing. We've got uFrag stacking up. Powell, last man, not last man, only man, sorry, working towards the mid area. No such luck there, but Rilla goes down. He's been getting a little bit peaky, and I think that's exactly what happened as Tort's able to pick up the frag, and Powell does some damage, getting Sperry, who is very quick to get on the rotate. Tort with the frag taking down Sharp as they make their way into the site, and this could be costly. You don't want to win a round after losing a couple and then lose it straight back. In fact, my apologies, inDepth have got 2 rounds on the spin, so not so much of a concern. But I'm not sure they do have enough cash to buy next time around. They've got to try and want to do as much financial damage to uFrag as they can. But Wretch, last man standing, is probably going to favour the save here. Just try and pick up anyone that tries to hunt him down. And that's exactly what he is doing. I don't think he is going to get hunted at this rate. Players complete other side of the map. Ash might be the only player with half a chance of getting close, but I don't think he will be able to find this last man. So uFrag 3 rounds away from victory. inDepth 6 rounds away. Awesome counting there on my part. You know, one thing, the amount of CS commentators that just seem to struggle to count to 30, myself included at some points. Powell leading the way, 7 stars. MVP 25 and 12. He's going with the AK. Ash going to try and work this boost spot up into the mid area. So we've got a slightly aggro push coming in. Who was that going through? That's Wretch. But he's sacked that one off. He's going to sit in behind the lockers. The trouble you have there is if you give yourself away, you throw a flash or you step out and peek, it's very easy to get caught by utility. You can get trapped in by Molotovs, a couple of nades, flashes, etc. and you find yourselves in real trouble. As does Rilla with the AWP in hand. He's taken down to 38 HP, but that trade probably favours uFrag more than anything else, because that's the AWP down, and it's given them the opportunity to push into the site. Keltry drops out as Ash grabs Sharp. He goes up on his own up into the upper walkway. Wretch, though, is able to pick up a frag on Ash. So Wretch coming in from behind now. What can he do? His position will have been called from the mid area, so Powell's going to be watching that vent, and they are trading. Keltry comes in, and he's trading with Adam in the end before Wretch steps steps out. He's picking up a frag on Powell, who he dented quite heavily, but Adam takes down the on-rushing Sperry, making his way onto the site, leaving Rex last man standing. Nice work. Would have been a tough little shot there from Adam to try and flick and find the head with that little angle to play with. It's being kept close. uFrag with a slender 2-round lead. Again, the pig back, they're trading 1 or 2 rounds here and there. That's been the story of the last 5. What we're going to see now, will it trade straight back? Who knows? uFrag, they are fine on the finances, and despite that win for inDepth, they are looking the poorer. Swag 7 up in their hand is Sharp. What can he do with that? It's like Wretch with the utility is caught by Yoshi. They're able to use their utility and their flashes to keep him blind while they boosted 3 players up, and they've got control of this mid area now. Such a difficult position to be in, and you can see inDepth are worried about this mid push over towards the A side. Sharp and Sperry stacking up to try and watch that. Sharp going to try and wrap around to the mid area. Keltry trying to get aggressive coming in from behind, and that could be costly not picking up the frag on team captain Adam. Instead he's worried about the push coming in. That's Sperry, and they're able to close him down there. Yoshi though has made his way into the site, coming in from behind those players as they make their way into storage. Tort picks up 1 frag, and there's a player coming in from behind. Is it? No, it's not. It's not quite. It's Yoshi coming into the site. Go put a plant down. So I've got Sharp Swag 7 up in hand. Got an AWP from Rilla. It could be quite effective there. Might have a play on Tort potentially, but there's 2 players blind, and that's Sharp going down. That's the Swag 7. The AWP's there as well. Tort knows there's a player there, and Rilla's able to pick up the 1 frag, but 2 inDepth players completely blind and exposed, and Tort able to pick up a couple of frags as a result. So they're trading it straight back, and the finances already weren't looking too healthy for inDepth. And now, with things finally in the balance, you're thinking uFrag might just have enough to bring this one home. Pick up this next round, that's the draw. 1 more after that, that is going to be the win and bringing it home. But a far from comfortable performance, I would suggest here. And it's maybe down to inDepth, because they hadn't made a few maybe questionable plays. Well, questionable maybe isn't the right word for it, but maybe if they had a little more of a clue about what they wanted to do with their eco strats, they might have picked up a few more rounds on their T side, and it might have been enough to bring them home, because uFrag have been far from convincing here at points. Powell on flick 26 and 13 with his AWP in hand, and Tort's putting a good performance. And it might be a chance for him to put in another good performance as he trades with Ash before Ash is able to pick up Keltry. So that is the draw in the bag. Going to be buy what you can, but they've only got 2 grand to play with. So I think this could be all she wrote. Full buy coming in from uFrag. Full utility, full armour against upgraded pistols. No utility. A little bit of utility on Rilla actually. That is about it. I think we're seeing the beginning of the end here, and from a time where I was thinking inDepth might have been, well, they were pushing uFrag all the way, but might have been able to make something happen. Rilla again getting aggressive, and maybe one of those times they just get a little bit too peaky. Chance for Tor, go jump on the Keltry, and it's looking just a little bit more like a mix-cell. 5 and 2, that Molotov's going to slow Sperry down, and he pushes straight through into the AWP of Powell, leaving 1 man left. That's Sharp, and Powell is able to pick him up. Not quite a 30 bomb, but 28 frags and 13. Tort there with 27 of his own, I believe. And all in all, a solid but far from convincing performance from uFrag. So this is the ESL UK Premiership. It's the first of 3 qualifiers, and these qualifiers are linked. The points from each rack up to give you an overall total for these teams to progress through into the next stage of the ESL UK Premiership. And I'm glad to see us back. I'm glad to watch some CSGO away from a LAN event, which is exciting. 128 teams signed up for this. This was a round 2 match with uFrag taking a bye through the first. inDepth now bow out the tournament after coming through a victory against Snaky Melons, I believe the team name was. And this is Crossy from Eclipse Gaming TV bringing you the action. So I'm going to